All right, lookers, what's going on? Your favorite fellas are back. Your boy Yo Soy, ACWeezy, the man, goddamn, no look podcast. I think T at our new time slot in our new home Thursday nights. I mean, at least for right now, seems like it's gonna work out.
Yeah, no, I mean, can't go wrong with a thirsty Thursday. Especially double the amount of Austin. Can never have too much, but I mean,
Getting me an extra hour to get primed, even though I don't need
yeah.
to.
Well, I mean, loosen up the old pipes, especially if you do some karaoke or get the fingers going when you're typing in, how much the Packers are gonna owe Aaron Rodgers if he sits out next year, and
Mm.
correlating that to the keyboard or the joystick. So.
Hey, I wish I could still do karaoke. They took Twitch Sings off the platform for some reason.
No.
Probably DMCA. Everyone was getting mad that they were using their songs. But
Damn. I bet
yeah.
I bet what's his face was mad every time Return of the Mac came on. He was like, "Bro, I ain't getting paid for this. I haven't had a hit song since then. What's going on with this?"
Mark Morrison. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they could cut him a little check. I'm sure he wouldn't be mad getting some royalties from that.
That song has to be, top 20 of my favorite. Every time that song comes on, I'm always vibing. Just big
Just
vibes.
hear that beat drop. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah.
And the lyrics to the song,
I'm
every
on.
man, I guess you could say, has been through the similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
We've
No,
had a return of the Austin, return of the Tyler.
hashtag relatable. 100p no C.
Yeah.
All right, T. So a lot going on. Majorly to do with the NBA playoffs. I mean, I feel like there's a big elephant in the room that we might as well just start talking about. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets had themselves, in a little bit of a hole, a little bit of a situation. But I mean, your boy KD just went unconscious, man. No Kyrie, no problem. James Harden, clearly still dealing with that injury. Definitely wasn't completely himself. But I mean, do we want to just talk about the last game that happened? I
I
know, I
mean,
know. I think at least two have been played since we last had the
well,
podcast.
3
Three
technically, because the last
was
podcast,
Thursday night.
yeah,
Uh,
and they were playing a game, and you could rewind the video footage of me saying that this game was gonna be in 5, that the Bucks were gonna win only one game. They ended up stealing that one game that night, and then Sunday night they stole another game. But I think the biggest thing is that obviously losing Kyrie was a big issue, but when you lose Kyrie and you don't have James Harden on the floor, you had a lot of guys that just didn't know what to do. And, KD was trying his best. And I feel like at times even you would watch and he would just be like, it almost seemed like he didn't even want to be there. But the last game on Tuesday, that game was unreal. I mean, obviously James Harden gutting it out for the Nets and playing on like probably 50% with
yeah.
a bad hammy, and I think it helped KD a lot, just kind of relieve a lot of the pressure off of him from dribbling the ball up or having the ball
He was
100% in
kind of
his
like a
hands.
quarterback in the Wildcat formation. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like he's lined up out there at wide receiver. There's like a 99% chance he's not going to do anything, but still you got to like pay respect to it and, kind of honor him being out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they used to spread Jay Cutler out at wide receiver, and like nothing's gonna happen. But I mean,
He's not even in a
for
football stance.
yeah, I mean the he would just like put one arm out, just pretend like he was about to block you.
Try to light up a cigarette or something.
Last game, and going back to the last podcast, I also did say that Kevin Durant was the best scorer in NBA history, and I feel like last game proved it. 49 points, 15 boards, 10 assists. I mean, he's the first player to ever do that, or the last person that did do that. Luka Doncic, Charles Barkley, and I believe there was one other person. Just an
Hmm.
ungodly performance by him. Definitely put the team on his back. But I will say, I don't think that this Bucks team is playing to their top level. I feel
Okay.
like they're the ones that are shooting themselves in the foot. They could easily ended the series, I feel like, a while ago. And what I mean by that is, yeah, the Nets have great players, probably the best big three in the NBA, but they don't play great defense, as we know. And Giannis could easily be averaging about 50 points a game if he decided to just take the ball to the basket every single time instead of reverting to, 3-point shots, ill advised fadeaways, or anything like that. He could
Yeah.
easily, with his length, get to the bucket super easy, but he doesn't.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a layup here because I know you've been quite actively outspoken against this player. PJ Tucker, 0 points in this last game, played 33 minutes. He only had three field goal attempts. He was 0 for 3, 0 for 2 from 3-point land. Let's see, he had 4 rebounds, 0 assists. I mean, everyone else in that starting lineup did their thing. Giannis had 34, Middleton 25, Lopez 15, Holiday 19. I mean, if you're gonna point your finger somewhere, I feel like it's easy. Do you have anything else to say about him?
PJ Tucker has to be the worst player in the NBA out there today. If I were the Bucks owner, I would release him. This isn't even his first time scoring 0 points. Thursday last week, after the podcast, he decided to put up 0 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound in 33 minutes. It is just atrocious. It's disgusting. I look at that stat line and I'm like, are you even on the floor? His plus minus percentage was plus 10. Obviously, guarding KD doesn't help, but I look at that, and if I'm Budenholzer, Terry Budenholzer, their coach, I'm like, why is this guy even on KD? KD's scoring 49, KD's scoring 33. I'm not getting a good plus minus against him. Put Giannis out there. And CJ McCollum called him out on Twitter, and everybody's been calling him out and saying you're defensive player of the year, you're all NBA defense, yet you're not guarding the best player in the NBA right now who's torching your team single-handedly.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got to put something up. I mean, you can't be starting in a playoff game, and it's not even like an Alfred Payton situation like we talked about. He'd go in, asterisks on the starting role and play like sub 10 minutes. He's out there playing 33 minutes. Obviously, he's more of a defensive caliber type of player, but 0 points. I mean, you lose by 6. If he can put up, high single digits, that may swing the other way. The other thing
But
I
that's
want
not even the thing though, Austin, is
to.
he's not even guarding KD the whole entire game. He's allowing KD to score so much that now they're switching Middleton on him, and Middleton isn't, I mean, he's a decent defender, he's lanky, but now you're taking your second best player and investing in him stopping KD. So now he's putting all of his effort on defense rather than offense, bolstering, you know, KD's still scoring on them, so it doesn't even matter. And your second best scorer is now tired from having to guard him all game.
Yeah,
So
no,
PJ Tucker, in turn, is honestly the epitome of the downfall of the Milwaukee Bucks this offseason or this playoff. I don't care what anybody says. If you want to point any fingers at the Milwaukee Bucks, it's not Giannis, it's not Middleton, it's PJ Tucker. The guy's a fraud. He's a phony. He's a big fat liar, and he can't guard KD. He's the so-called KD stopper. You haven't stopped him once. He's the best player in the NBA, best scorer of all time. You're not gonna stop him. Just because you have an ugly neck tattoo doesn't mean that you're a thug. You're a wannabe. You should be canceled. You should be out of the league. You shouldn't even be playing in the NBA. You shouldn't even be playing overseas. You're terrible. He looks like a washed up guy that you see at the YMCA that said, "Oh, back in my high school days, I averaged 12 points a game." Get out of here. You're a fraud.
wow, a lot of not so chill words spoken about a guy that I personally want no smoke with. Tyler is
I
not
want
holding
all the
back
smoke.
at all.
I would let PJ Tucker beat the shit out of me. I don't care.
Just to prove your point. So a follow-up question to you: is there anywhere else they can turn to right now in this playoff series? So they got Pat Connaughton off the bench. Um, he's more of a guard. Maybe he could play that three. Maybe put Middleton at the four. But he played 32 minutes. He had 10 points. Um, I mean, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother. he's really the only other forward that got some minutes in the last game, or a minute. I'm not sure that you could really potentially put Bryn Forbes in there at the other guard. Yeah, because right now they're running, PJ, they got him on the list as a power forward. Obviously, Giannis is a power forward. Do you think they turn to someone like Bryn Forbes, or maybe give Connaughton a few more minutes in there in that starting lineup to, I don't know, maybe not put as much pressure on PJ?
I mean, the game plan needs to be simple for the Bucks. It needs to go through Giannis on both ends. If you're a guy that's a defensive player of the year or all NBA defense, you need to guard the best player on the court, especially if your season is on the line. Giannis needs to put his big boy pants on. He needs to decide that he wants to guard KD, and he also needs to make smart plays on offense. Single-handedly, Giannis could have easily beaten this Brooklyn Nets team, even with the big three. I think because of how outmatched they are, the Nets to the Bucks with size, and the Bucks play great defense. Obviously, they don't score as many points, but I feel like if they played through Giannis, had him touch the ball every single time, you wouldn't have an issue. But they're playing stupid. Like they're shooting themselves, like I said, in their own foot. So honestly, Connaughton played really well last game. I like the way he played, and I love how I'm like rooting for the Bucks almost. Like I want a game seven, but
You want to make it competitive. You want to see a good series. I get it.
I mean, this is like the Eastern Conference Finals in my eyes. I think whoever comes out of this series is going to win the Eastern Conference. But I mean, it's just I don't even know who else you would really even have to add. I would just take PJ Tucker off the court. It's just simple as that. Just don't put
Hmm.
him on the court. I would give whatever his name is, Forbes, all the minutes. Give Connaughton all the minutes. I mean, Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother, he only comes in when they don't want Giannis to foul. So he's only coming in for like 5 seconds on defense,
Yeah.
and then they call timeout or the next out of bounds play they bring in Giannis. So
Yeah, I mean
I don't
they
know.
they got Bobby Portis on the
That's true.
bench.
I just saw that.
Yeah, I mean I'm not sure if his hand's still fucked up after punching what's his name in the face, but I'm not sure, this guy has put up 40 plus points in NBA basketball game. In my mind, he's still young. He should still have some type of attribute that he can contribute towards, the Milwaukee Bucks. So on the other side, Tyler, I know we
Well,
kind of just
real quick on
mm-hmm.
Bobby Portis, the fact that they didn't play him last game, not even a singular minute, is kind of concerning because he's a great player. He's a great rebounder. He's a great defensive player.
Yeah.
And Justin Jackson, I mean, also a lanky guy that's very decent for the Bucks. I just did PJ Tucker, like, does Budenholzer owe him a favor or owe him money, or like I don't understand why this guy's in the game over some players that could actually guard and rebound better and actually
Yeah.
score.
The only thing I could think of is kind of like the enforcer in a hockey game. You
Yeah,
put a guy in there who's maybe not as good talent wise, but he's gonna strike some fear into the opponents. He's gonna get in some fights. Obviously, fist fights aren't legal in the NBA. Maybe this should be. It's a conversation for another day. But so on the other side of it, I was gonna say we kind of touched it a little bit. James Harden, he was almost out there like a decoy, kind of taking a little bit of pressure off KD, but he played 46 minutes, Tyler. Are you worried about with his injuries, dealing with the workload that they're putting on him? And obviously, they got the series lead. They're one game away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to a little bit be thinking about the future and the
right.
next series. You don't want to wear this guy out right now.
Well, I mean, I think the good thing is that the Hawks and the Sixers are still playing with us right now. So, if we do advance at tonight, that gives us a little bit of time to rehab Harden. But they were saying in the game and it was very interesting because they were wondering why Harden was playing so much, and they basically essentially said is with the hamstring injury, the more you're out there, the more it loosens it up, I guess.
Hmm.
So if he's sitting on the sideline and, Nash is taking him out and he's only playing like 25, 30 minutes, his hamstring's going to get even tighter when he's sitting on the sideline unless he's going to be on like the bike or
Yeah, get
something.
on the bike. You see people do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think having him out there, even if he's not even, because he doesn't play defense hardly. I mean, he had a few good defensive stops last game, but as long as he's just controlling the basketball up front and they're setting off screen picks or running plays through KD or Joe Harris, I don't think 46 minutes is a lot for him. He's used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll transition into that. You talked about the other side of the Eastern Conference, the Hawks versus 76ers. The Hawks are, to quote Wu-Tang, proven they ain't nothing to fuck with. You know, my main takeaway, Tyler, Trae Young is going to need a little bit of help. I feel like if they're going to have to move on from this series, our boy Herter had himself maybe his worst game all year. 0 points, playing 27 minutes, minus 23. He was 0 for 7 from the floor. I honestly, Tyler, when I looked at this box score, I had to go back and personally add up all the points that the players scored because I'm looking at this 19 from John Collins, 6 from Capella, 39 from Trey, 6 from Bogdanovich, 0 from Herter, and then you get 16, 6, 2, and 15 off the bench. Gallinari and Lou Williams contributed the majority of those. But I like looking at all these small numbers, I was like, there's no way this adds up to 109 points. In fact, it did. I mean, my main takeaway from this is I think the 76ers just like putting a little bit too much pressure on Embiid. I mean, they were looking super fluent when Tobias was out there scoring 37. He had 4 points last game. Your favorite player in the NBA right now, Ben Simmons, contributed 8 points. Seth Curry balled out 7 for 12 from 3 point land, or excuse me, yes, from 3 point land. He had 36 points. I mean, I don't know. Hawks are, I'm sure, surprising me and a lot of other people around the country. What do you think ends up happening in this series, and what do the 76ers need to do to turn this around?
Well, I mean, I said who I thought they were, essentially the Sixers last week, and Embiid is the best player on the team by far. Get him the ball as much as possible. I was surprised with Seth Curry and how well he plays. And this stat line just goes to show that I am right about Ben Simmons and that he is just the epitome of the downfall of the Sixers in this
Still,
series.
still plus 7.
Plus 7, but they still lost.
Yeah.
The guy's not playing well. Obviously they're gonna need more out of Harris. They're gonna need more out of Simmons. I mean, Embiid's gonna average you about 35 in the postseason, regardless. I mean, that's just the monster numbers he puts up. But I mean, Trae Young, you just have to applaud, the grit, I guess you could say, of how well he's playing against the Sixers. They're throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at the guy, trying to stop him, and still almost putting up 40.
Hmm.
I hope Atlanta wins. I'm not sure if I think it might happen in 7. I'm not sure if it will happen in 6. But I hope Atlanta wins, especially since they're playing in Atlanta next game tomorrow, I believe. So I think that Atlanta takes it to the ATL and shuts it down because I don't think this Sixers team. I don't think they're playing with the flow that Atlanta's playing with. And our boy Herter, like you said, 0 points. I don't know what Nate McMillan is doing. It's Nate McMillan who's the head coach, right? Yes. I don't
We're gonna
understand
go
what
with
he's.
it.
I know it is. I don't understand what he's doing. Like some games he'll start, and then like this whole series he sat, but then the last game he start. Like make up your mind. The guy's
Yeah.
either gonna start or he's not. He's gonna come off the bench and score, or he's gonna be a starter. You know.
So you're hoping for Hawks, and you're also picking the Hawks.
I am hoping and I am picking the Hawks. Yes,
All right, trying to speak it into existence. So I'm gonna, play devil's advocate here. I think the Sixers overall have a better team, better roster, more
of
options.
course.
I think they're gonna figure it out. Tobias Harris. Hopefully, he just had a fluke game, 4 points. Hardly ever see that from him. I think he's gonna figure it out. I think if there's one positive takeaway, obviously they lost the game. But Seth Curry putting up 36 points, you kind of know what this guy can do now. Maybe focus this guy a little bit more in your offensive scheme. Dwight Howard, he's had points in this series where he's played some good minutes, had some good opportunities. He only played 9 minutes, had 0 points. Um, let's see, he had 8 rebounds though in 9 minutes, pretty impressive. I think they got to go back just to what they've been doing all year long. I feel like they're kind of backs against the wall and they're not really playing like the team that we've seen throughout the regular season. It's like in football or, I guess I'll keep it in basketball. I know we try to turn everything to a football reference, but they're kind of chucking up threes, trying to play like, there's no time left, even though they have some opportunities to go get a quick bucket, make a stop. I think they're playing a little bit too nervous right now. Um, Definitely still not really giving the Atlanta Hawks the recognition that they deserve because obviously they've been putting work in this playoff. Obviously Trae Young doing this thing, but I'll wrap it up there. I think the Sixers figure it out, and I think they're the better team. So I think that's what's going to happen.
I mean, all I'll say to that is that if you're gonna play 38 minutes in a game, you better put up more than 4 shots, especially when you're being paid 127 or 117 million dollars like Ben Simmons. I just don't understand how a guy
Wait,
of
who put up 4 shots?
Ben Simmons, he went 2 for 4.
Oh, I was looking at his free throws. He shot 4 for 14 from free throws. That is just completely egregious. But you're right. Yeah, he only went 2 for 4.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, getting to the free throw line, he's doing a great job at. But I mean, I saw this meme, and actually, you can answer this one. If Giannis and Ben Simmons were at the free throw line, I think I told you this one. Who
Hmm.
would you pick? Okay, gun to your head. They're gonna kill you if they missed a free throw. Giannis is at
Oh,
the free throw line.
I kind of got where you were going there.
Ben Simmons is at the free throw line. Who do you pick to save your life?
I mean, I guess I got to go Giannis. I'm not sure what their percentages are, but I feel like he's a better in-game player. Might hit a little bit more of those free throws when the game's on the line. Definitely a better clutch performer.
Well, the funny thing is that this was before Giannis got called for that 10-second violation at the free throw line. So they were like, well, at least if I pick Giannis, I'll have time to say bye to all my family members.
I like it. Oh, that was a good one. Where'd you see that?
Probably Instagram Explore
All
page or
right.
something like
You're not
that.
gonna try to take credit for it.
No, definitely not.
All right. All right. So we're gonna hop over to the Western Conference. I want to talk about the first series that got wrapped up from this um 4 and
Suns and
0
four.
Suns and 4. I'm sure we've all seen the video by now. Legendary Barstool had a field day with that. They've got all kinds of merch coming out for that guy now. Um I mean the Phoenix Suns, they're really playing like a juggernaut right now. Devin Booker doing his thing. Chris Paul super healthy. Dropped 37. Wow, I didn't know he put up that much in their final game. I don't know if there's even
Did
much
you
to.
say Chris Paul super healthy?
Yeah, because I mean he was hurt throughout the Lakers series.
Yeah, I guess, but it's kind of funny that you say that because now he's not super healthy.
What, did he just get injured?
Well, they just announced it was like 2 days ago that he was on COVID protocol. So now his because he I
They're
guess he
still
got
doing that?
I guess he got COVID or something like that, and now they're saying that it could potentially put him at risk for the next series because of how many days are in between. So basically, he got in there 2 days ago, so now he has to wait 8 to 10 days or something like that.
I guess wearing the masks on the sideline, even though you take it off when you go in the game, wasn't doing anything for him.
Well,
But
they said if he got vaccinated, it would shorten it up, but I guess he didn't.
all right. You heard it here first. Chris Paul, anti-vaxer. Breaking news! Breaking news! Um, okay, you know what I mean though. Healthy as far as his injury, so stop
I thought
trying.
you were making a joke.
Stop
That's
trying.
what I
No, no,
said.
no. You're just trying to undermine me here. But 37 points. I don't really have much to say about the Suns unless you do, but I kind of want to more so talk about the Nuggets.
I mean, all I'll say with the Suns is, I mean, this was a layup series. I feel like for them. Yeah, the Nuggets have MVP
I was
Jokic,
gonna say
but
playing against the MVP and
they didn't have Murray. They didn't have well, they didn't have Murray. That was the biggest one, and I feel like it made it such like an off balance series. Chris Paul played out of his mind though, and I feel like that's what made it an even more off balance series because not only did you have Devin Booker, who got snubbed also, but by the way, for NBA All Team, didn't make a single one, absolutely egregious. Same with Kevin Durant, but that's another story for another day. But Chris Paul balling out, point guard is what they're calling him. Probably the best point guard of all time. They're ranking him up there, and he proved it. I mean, the guy hasn't been this far in the playoffs, I don't think yet. I don't think he's ever been to a conference finals, and he's bringing them
I think he
to.
did in NOLA once, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you are mistaken because I don't think he's ever because they were always saying that the big three in for the Clippers they could never get to the conference finals and Chris Paul has never been. But if you're right, I don't remember that. 40 minutes, 36 years old. That's incredible to me. I think he's a genius. He's a magician with the ball, and he's obviously bringing them to the promised land.
Yeah, I can't find anything quick on Google, so I guess we'll have to look that up afterwards. So my main thing, Tyler, and I kind of want to get in a hypothetical situation. The Nuggets, obviously, they're a different team when Jamal Murray is playing. I think you saw some good flashes from Michael Porter Jr. He dropped 20 in the last game. Jokic 22, Morris 19. So you got Ben Gordon, who you brought in.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. It would
Mhm.
be his second conference finals. My bad.
Did he make one with the Hornets?
It doesn't say. This was just the first thing that popped up, but
I
I
feel
mean,
like
I
he
can.
made one with them. Or I mean, it was either them or Lob City, right?
Yeah, That's what I'm thinking it is.
I didn't think they ever made it out of that second round. But so I was gonna say, we're talking about your guy, Ben Simmons, Tyler. 76ers, if they lose this round, right? You're talking about they don't make it to the NBA Finals. I'd say that's kind of an asterisk while you're going up against the juggernaut that is the Brooklyn Nets. If they decide to shop Ben Simmons, I'm putting Nuggets at the top of my list for what would be a good fit. So you got oh, hear me out. Hear me
All
out.
right, I'm
I feel
listening.
I feel like Simmons, right? I always have been talking about you know what you're getting from him. He's a good defender. He facilitates passes the basketball well. He can rebound. He could really play a point guard position. If you slide him in there, you got Ben Simmons and Jamal Murray. I feel like that opens up the floor a lot to let Jokic do his thing. Jokic is a big man who can step out behind the perimeter, shoot the three. So whereas Ben Simmons, not a great 3-point shooter, you can really only have one guy out on the floor that can't shoot the three. If he's on the Denver Nuggets, that's Ben Simmons. Everyone else there can shoot the three, right? Murray, Jokic, Porter, Barton. And I just feel like that'd be a good fit for someone who can play off of Jokic, both good passers, and you don't have to worry about multiple players not being able to shoot the three ball. Because that is just an offensive nightmare because defenses are gonna be salivating when there's like, all right, we got two guys that we don't need to step out on, but Jokic kind of being that anomaly, the center that shoots the three ball real well. I feel like that would be a great fit for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be tough though because he's a point guard, obviously. And Murray is a point guard. He loves the ball in his hands. I mean, honestly, I
Yeah, but you
see.
can put him in that Devin Booker role. You see how well Booker plays off the ball. He's a spot
Yeah,
up
but Booker's
shooter.
always been a shooting guard. He's always been that. I feel like there's one place that both Ben Simmons and PJ Tucker belong, and that's in Orlando. They have a perfect spot in Orlando at the Amway Center for both of those guys. They can get 35, 40 minutes a game. They can play every single game unless they get injured. So I would say that would be the perfect ideal situation for the both of them.
So you're just sending them to the Wolves. You think they have
I'm
no.
not sending him to the T Wolves. Like I thought about the
No,
T.
no, 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 no. I'm saying metaphorically.
Yeah.
Just like. counting them out, putting them on Castaway Island.
Castaways.
We
We're
are.
castaways. I
Always
mean,
got to go
honestly,
back to TikTok.
yes, I am. Do I think Ben Simmons in Denver would be a great situation for him? Absolutely. I think they would win 60 plus games a year because he has more than one person to go off of. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. Is it Porter Jr.? Or I'm thinking
Porter
Kevin.
Jr.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is going to be an all-star one day. Like
Hmm.
we already know this. He's just been down by injuries. Murray an all-star, Jokic an MVP. Those three guys alone, they don't even need Ben Simmons, but if you add someone like Ben Simmons who's a dynamic player, tall point guard, I mean, that's just going to bolster your team even more. Do I think they can afford him? Absolutely not, because you're not going to take a $117 million guy and add him to a roster where you have those three guys already, and two of which haven't been paid yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Porter and Murray are still on their rookie contract, so you
Right.
can very easily afford them. Oh, we lost him a little bit.
Exactly.
Oh,
You
all
there?
right, he's back. Had a little technical difficulty. I feel like you kind of just agreed with me unconsciously because if they're in win now mode, they can. I mean, I don't know when those guys are gonna get paid. Probably in a year or two, if they exercise the option or not. But that's 2 years of a team that just finished in third in a tough Western Conference that you could, play win now basketball.
I think Murray's contract he has to get paid this offseason. I think
Mhm.
Porter he's going to be the following, just based off when they entered the league. But
I feel like they're the same year.
cap space, no, I think Murray entered 1 year before Porter. But cap space would definitely be an issue for the Nuggets. I mean, honestly, I personally think the Nuggets just need to stick to their
2016 from okay. I didn't know he's been for that many years, but
who Murray.
yeah.
Yeah, because he was a one and done at Kentucky. So, um, but they just need to stick to their guns. They already have like a great team. They have guys that are. Will Barton came out and balled out one game. They obviously have Bol on their bench. Like they haven't even played him. They have great players. They don't need to add really anymore. So yeah, Ben Simmons would be a great landing spot or Denver would be a great landing spot for Ben Simmons. But I don't even think they really even need him.
Clearly they do if they're getting swept in the second round of the
I
playoffs.
mean, Murray is out. If Murray was in, this whole entire series would be completely different. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I still think the Suns would have won if they ended up facing off against each other. But all right.
I agree. I agree. I think they would have too, but I think it would have been like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, no, I agree to disagree. Um, so the last series that we have to talk about, another interesting one, Tyler, the Clippers versus the Jazz. I mean, same type situation. I'm having deja vu. The Clippers go down 0-2. They now come back. They win three straight. Might I add, without Kawhi Leonard. I mean, we're all criticizing Paul George, saying he hasn't really performed well. He's been underwhelming. Comes out and puts up 37. Obviously, he got a lot of help from Marcus Morris Sr., 25 points. Reggie Jackson, 22 points. All the starters were in the plus of the plus minus. Tyler, that's my new favorite my new favorite judging point of how productive the players are. Um, I said I think the Clippers have the best chance in beating the Nets. I'm still sticking to that. Obviously, there's an asterisk against if Kawhi Leonard plays or not.
Which he's not.
If Kawhi
He's out for
Leonard's
the season.
they confirmed that.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
I thought no way.
I swear to God.
16 minutes ago, Kawhi Leonard to remain out for Game 6 with knee injury.
I literally read
I
that
saw
he.
something that they were speculating it was an ACL injury. I never read anything that it was confirmed an ACL tear.
Huh. I swore ESPN posted something on that he was out for the whole entire playoffs now.
I don't know. This was
Either way, an
16
ACL.
minutes ago from
I'd almost rather tear my ACL and have an ACL.
Yeah, I mean those ligament injuries are definitely tricky. Obviously, your boy Yosoi has dealt with a mild sprain. Nothing like it's like, oh, what's a sprain? Technically, there's no such thing as a torn MCL. There's mild, or was it mild,
Severe.
medium, severe. Severe is like completely snap. Anyways, I was like in
Are
the
we talking
middle.
about steaks or your MCL?
Yeah, right. Medium rare. No. So yeah, those ligament injuries are tricky, tough to come back from. So yeah, if that's the case and Kawhi's out, then they have no shot. I think the Suns run away with it. But if he can come back and be like 60%, I still feel like they have a better chance at beating the Jazz. Um, on the other side of the ball, Bogdanovich, not related to the Bogdanovich in Atlanta, balled out, had 32 points. Mitchell,
Do you have to say that every single time just
I
to
think I gotta clarify
remember?
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's like when you're meeting someone, and it's like for me, if I don't repeat their name back, it's instantly gone. Like it's like if they're like, "Hey, my name's John, nice to meet you," like, "Oh, Austin, nice to meet you," but I'd be like, "Oh, John, my name's Austin," then I have to play it back in my head. So it's the same type situation.
So what you should do is, my name's Austin Cook, not related to the golfer Austin Cook.
Right. Depends on the situation. Usually, if I'm trying to be a little flirtatious or kind of sarcastic, if I'm meeting, a female companion or something, I'll be like, "Yeah, my name's Austin. They named the capital of Texas after me." So just kind of related to that for the geography fans out there.
My name's Tyler. There's a city in Texas called Tyler.
Okay, well, it's not the capital though. God damn it.
I know, but hey, we're in the same state. That's saying something.
And then later on the night, we of course they're gonna bring up like astrology signs, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I'm a
Yes.
Virgo," and then they're gonna be like, "When's your birthday?" And I'll be like, "Oh, September 21st." They actually made a song about it. Made Earth, Wind, and Fire made a song about my birthday, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool." Anyways,
And I guarantee you, no girl that you're at the club with knows that song.
are you kidding me? That's a classic.
Until you sing it to them, I guarantee you most
Do
people don't
you
even know who Earth, Wind,
remember
and Fire is.
the 21st night of September? I mean, it's in almost every rom com movie, so
True. Where a girl, New York City, picture this, New York City, girl walking down the street, bustling, city streets, wind blowing in her hair. She's going to her 9 to 5 job. This song is playing. That's like
I
the
have
start of every movie.
something. Yeah,
So
right. I literally just pictured that so vividly. But where were we? Mitchell had a
you
bad
were saying
game.
Clippers were gonna win the series with or without Kawhi, I think, allegedly.
Yes, I feel that way. I think Paul George, maybe he plays better without Kawhi. Maybe this is a sign of things to come. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard duo is not what the Clippers thought it was going to be. Um, I think they close it out, but if Kawhi can't go, then the West is easily the Suns.
So a few things. If Kawhi can't go and Paul George is not the future answer, or Kawhi, there's a place for you. It's located in Orlando, Florida, Amway Center. You can meet Ben Simmons and PJ Tucker there if you want a place to play. But I think this game was a fluke. The last game, personally, I think Paul George came out balled out like he can. I just don't think he can sustain that in 2 more games or 1 more game to close out the Jazz. I think that the Jazz are going to figure it out pretty swiftly and pretty promptly. I think defense is going to double Paul George even. I mean, yeah, the Clippers have Luke Kennard. I mean, off the bench they got Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris. I mean, how many times are you going to get? Is it Marcus Morris or yeah, Marcus Morris?
Yeah, yeah.
How many times are you going to get Marcus Morris scoring 25 points for you? I mean, really, how often can you get that
He's a
out of this
senior
guy?
now. He's got dad strength. You know what I'm
He's got
saying?
if that guy came out with high White Sox and Nike Air Monarchs, then I would believe it. But the fact of him scoring 25 points consistently just doesn't do it for me. I think that they have a great team, but I don't think that it's going to be good enough to beat the Jazz and close them out. So I think that this series is going to go 7, and I think the Jazz are going to slam the door on the Clippers with or without Kawhi.
Well, I mean, Game 6 is in LA. Do you think that factors into it at all?
No, because they're without Kawhi, like you said. I think the Jazz are gonna figure out at least one game, stopping Paul George, and then they'll assess it if Kawhi's out, which I guarantee you what's gonna happen. Kawhi's gonna thug it out like he does, and I don't think it's gonna make a difference. He'll be a decoy, but I don't think if he was healthy, I'd be scared of a Game 7 Kawhi. But
I mean, if he was healthy, they wouldn't go to Game 7.
I think they would. This series is one of those series where it would be kind of back and forth. I could see, especially with the offensive prowess of the Clippers and the slow grind of the Jazz and the defense that they play. I mean, Rudy Gobert, like we've been saying, best defensive season in NBA history. This is a great defensive team versus a great offensive team. Usually, defense wins though.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships.
So, Tyler, I know you like to remind me, and as does my therapist Dana. Shout out Dana. We haven't had a Dana shout out in a while. No, not the Virgo shout out.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like butterfly effect, right? If the Mavs end up winning the previous series, how do you think they match up against the Jazz, and do they have a chance at potentially making their way to the Western Conference Finals?
Definitely not. I
No.
mean, the Mavs actually, who would be a great fit for them? Ben Simmons. I mean, he should go to the Mavs. I mean, the Mavs need help. They need help now.
On
Luka
this
Doncic,
roster now, but now you got Porzingis saying he wants out, so that kind of ruins
good.
that whole
Kick him
plan.
out. He's trash. He's garbage. He could play in Orlando. We could have a whole
Tyler's shipping
team.
everyone off.
I mean, honestly, if you're a trash player, you should be playing in Orlando. They're not going to pay you well, but at least you get sunny days 95% of the year. But I just don't think Doncic could. He's going to score 40 easily every game. But, like, after that, who do you have against a Jazz team who's got all-stars almost at every single position?
Yeah, nah, I think that would be another good fit. I just think it's funny how you're trying to shop everyone to go to Orlando. That's like your, I guess, misfit island, if you will.
I guess what I'm saying is that there's going to be so many players, as there always is in the NBA free agency or after this season, that are just going to go somewhere and it's just not going to make any sense. Why not just create a super team of all the players that didn't get along in the previous situation and send them to Orlando and see what happens?
Well, you kind of contradicted yourself, though, because you're saying you don't think PJ Tucker should play any sort of professional
No.
basketball. Now you're saying he should go to Orlando, so.
I mean, obviously he has a hit out for someone, or like I said, someone owes him a favor because I don't think the guy deserves to be in the NBA whatsoever. But he always seems to mosey his way into an NBA organization. So
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that knows a guy. But that kind of concludes our NBA talk, Tyler. I guess another topic, a still ongoing topic, something that holds dear and near to my heart, which I don't know how much longer I can, withstand the stuff that's going on in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, you got, who was it? Glazier or something saying, "Oh, I got reports that Aaron Rodgers still wants out." Then you got Booger McFarland kind of pitching his case to what the Packers should do to try to keep Aaron Rodgers. Packers have come out and said, "Hey, whether we got Rodgers or Jordan Love, our mindset is still the same. We're gonna try to play good football, and we know we can be capable of being back in the NFC Championship game." Clearly, they're different teams, Tyler. I'm not going to be biased and completely naive to the fact that Jordan Love is, at this point in his career, nowhere near Aaron Rodgers. I think he can get to a Pro Bowl player caliber. I'm not sure that he's going to be the three-time MVP. Probably not. I've been outspoken in saying that I think he's going to be a productive NFL quarterback. I'm still holding out hope, Tyler. Nothing concrete has come out. I'm not surprised Aaron Rodgers hasn't reported, to training camp. It's going to be a little bit of a situation. Obviously, you kind of get a little bit more time, right? There's no preseason games, but they did move up the regular season an extra week for that added game. Now they're playing 17 games. I'm sticking true to my guns. I'm gonna stay on the narrative that I've said all along. I think he does end up playing for the Packers and starting for them this season. The only thing I will say is the second option, 1A, 1B. I think he's going to be on the Packers no matter what, whether he plays or doesn't play. I don't see a situation. The Packers have been outspoken that they want to keep him. They're not going to trade him. So, I mean, what does that tell you? Obviously, he's going to remain on the organization. Hopefully, they can get it resolved. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know if he's still, in that honeymoon phase with his new wife and he's just trying to enjoy some extra time with her and he's going to show up and be like, gotcha, guys. April Fools, even though, hey, Aaron, it's July, it's August. April was a little bit ago. But I think they're going to get it figured out and I'm hopeful for that.
The one thing I will say is that the longer this goes on, the more I feel that you're right about your assessment of what's going to happen to the Packers. And the reason I say that is
Thank you.
because you're welcome. The reason I say that is because there's no landing spots for Aaron Rodgers anymore. Like, they're all closed off. Russell staying in Seattle. Now they're saying Watson could possibly go to the Broncos. Now, I mean, they have Drew Lock. They don't really need a quarterback. Where else could this guy possibly go? The Saints signed, a monster deal to Jameis Winston and what is his name? Tyson
Tyson,
Hill?
Tyson Hill, yeah.
Taysom Hill.
Tyson, man. Now, you got me all messed up.
The Packers owners and GM and all the management, and I hate saying this, but they are playing chess when Aaron Rodgers is playing checkers. Reason I say that is because the longer they hold out, the less options that Aaron Rodgers has to go somewhere else. Obviously, they have him under contract. They know this. They probably said, let's not buy into this media bullshit. There's nowhere that he could possibly go if we keep holding on to him for as long as possible. And there's going to be moves throughout the season because people aren't going to be waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get traded if we keep telling them no. They're going to make other moves to fulfill that position. So now all these positions are gone that could have possibly happened early on in the season when it first came out that Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be there, but the Packers held still.
Mm-hmm.
So now what's going to happen is your three-time MVP, your reigning MVP, is now going to sit out a season, play host on Jeopardy, but guess who's still going to own him? The Packers.
Yeah.
So you're right, I think.
Hopefully.
So kudos to you.
No, it kind of seems like that type of situation, the relationship you're in with that girl, and she's like, oh, I don't know, like, I'm kind of getting cold feet. I don't know if I want to stay in this. And then you kind of like, all right, I just want what's best for you, right? You being the bigger person, I'm going to move on, try to work on my life. But then they come back and like, oh, wait, I didn't mean it. I just wanted to make sure that you wanted me. I mean, the Packers have said everything I feel like that Aaron Rodgers should want to hear. They've said we don't want to trade you. We offered you a long-term contract. We want you to be the guy. Like Jordan Love, it's a tricky situation because you don't want to like discount this guy. He could potentially be your starter, so you don't want to talk badly about him. But at the same time, you got to be like, hey, you're the reigning MVP, which just brought up something else that we could talk about next. The reigning MVP, Tyler, if you know what I'm referring to. You're the best quarterback in football right now. I feel like, why would we want someone else? So I feel like Aaron Rodgers, he's doing a little soul searching. He's got a couple, other later in life plans he needs to formulate on with the Jeopardy situation, his new marriage. But at the end of the day, if he's the football player that I know he is, he's going to be back in that green and gold, and we're going to be competing for a Super Bowl, baby. Go, Pack, go!
I thought you were about to shed a tear. I mean, football doesn't last forever, so the guy, needs to figure out what he wants to do. Is he gonna play or is he not? Is he gonna sit out? That could be a year off of his career that he'll never get back. I mean, look at Le'Veon Bell. This is a prime situation I was talking about to someone today. if I feel like if Le'Veon Bell did not sit out with the Steelers that one year, he would still be a 3 down, 4 down running back to this day, making an impact in the league. But because of that year off, it really impacted, him as a player. He regressed so much. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, he retired, came out of retirement, wasn't the same player. Taking a year off from football, you almost have to play 5 more years to get back to where you were
Hmm.
before. So I just think it's gonna, regress him. I don't think he's gonna be the same player that he was before, and in turn, I think he's gonna regret it. I think Lev Bell regrets sitting out for the Steelers.
So
Was it
you don't think Lev Bell is still a 3 down back in this league because
absolutely not?
he's a free agent right now and he's shopping his options.
I know, and I'm kind of scared as a Raiders fan. It looks like they're signing every single running back under the sun. So I'm hoping that
Huh.
they stay away from Lev Bell. So
Unfortunately, I think any running back is better than a guy that's going out and getting DWs on the weekends instead of training.
I won't comment on that, but I do appreciate his output last season. I think he's our best option, regardless of if he knows not to drive drunk or not. And obviously Kenyon Drake, I feel like is going to be a great addition, regardless of his role in Arizona. And Derek Carr coming out saying he'd rather quit than play for someone else other than the Raiders. Beautiful rally cry to go 13 this year. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess you know what they say, everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas except STDs and DWIs. So that's
and
going to stick with
wins.
them. Yeah. So what I was alluding to earlier, Tyler, when we were talking about MVP, I know you brought it up earlier. The new Madden cover came out. I'll kick it to you first. It's
Madden cover
MVP
MVP
edition.
edition. Yeah.
Yep. So how do you feel about this? What do you what do you think about it? I mean, I think they're definitely going with like passing the torch type situation.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that honestly. The way I saw it was they had two guys that were on the Madden cover within the last 3 to 4 years, and it's like Aaron Rodgers allergic to is the Madden cover because like he's never been on it, right?
Maybe he
And
turns it down because I'm pretty superstitious, right? I believe in the Madden curse. So I'm
right,
not really upset that he's not on the cover.
but yeah, and that's like the only thing that I feel like Madden can't be that dumb to say like, oh, let's have only Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady. Even though Aaron Rodgers won MVP last year, but it was
And
kind of
has the same
concerning.
amount of MVPs as Brady.
Yes, and it was kind of concerning seeing that only had Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes with no Aaron Rodgers. So was it a snub? Was it on purpose? Did Aaron Rodgers turn it down? I mean,
I mean, if
jury's
anything,
out.
like I get what they're doing, like I said, passing the torch type deal, but other than MVP, call it like the championship edition. You know what I mean? Like Brady, that fits more of the paradigm. MVP, he's right there with Aaron Rodgers, like I just aforementioned. But as far as a champion, he's got the most all times as a quarterback. Pat Mahomes, he only has one right now, but obviously they're kind of alluding to the fact that he should have a lot more and maybe be close to Brady when it's all said and done. So I get what they're going with it. Like I said, I'm not mad because no Madden curse for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to be upset about that. But yeah, I feel like a championship edition or champions edition would have made a lot more sense than the MVP.
So if Aaron Rodgers sits out, does that mean that he's going to be taken off of Madden 22?
Like
It's
wouldn't
kind of
wouldn't be
it's kind of going to
eligible
be like,
or
yeah, it's kind of
to play.
yeah.
I
I mean,
probably.
it's
I mean,
it's kind of
yeah.
going to be like the old MLB the shows, like they never had Barry Bonds, or the old NBA games never had Michael Jordan. You're not going to have the MVP? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I guess time will tell.
Well, like I said, there's no other spot that Aaron Rodgers could go if he doesn't stay in green and gold this year playing. He's going to be sitting in his home in Calabasas or wherever he lives with his actress wife, helping her read scripts for future upcoming movies while she helps him practice. Who is Andrew Jefferson or Andrew Jackson?
Hey, Roger has been on the. I almost said something, but I don't know if it's right. Is the silver screen? Is that movies or is that a porn reference? I feel
the,
I feel like that's for just regular movies. I don't know.
I don't
Anyways,
know
Aaron
either.
Rodgers is an actor, right? He made a cameo in Game of Thrones, so maybe he's trying to get into that whole situation.
Well, I mean, he has the right wife to do it. He's already gotten in, but
Yeah.
so much talent just wasted down the drain over ego.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the No Look podcast. This has been another great installation here on Insane Games TV. Make sure you follow us on all our social media accounts. We got Instagrams, we're on Facebook, our YouTube. We upload all the past episodes. We even got highlights from the
We got
streams.
TikTok.
TikTok, No Look podcast on TikTok. I'm trying to stay active on that, Tyler. I know I haven't been as good as I was
Better
when I
than me,
started,
but
but well, yeah. I
Austin's the
mean,
best editor there is on his side of the Mississippi. Well, yeah. We'll
yeah.
go with it. On your side of the Mississippi.
I'll take it. I'll take it. All right.
I have one final thing.
Say it right now. Go.
PJ Tucker, I hate you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's how we're gonna end this episode. PJ
Go
Tucker, I
Nets.
just want to declare I have no beef with you. I don't want no smoke. I'll dap you up if I see you in public. Hey, I'm in California. Maybe I'll see you at the Drew League. I'll take a pic and I'll throw up the middle fingers to Tyler. I don't give a fuck.
PJ Tucker, I'm in Tampa, Florida. You can come see me anytime. Hit me up in the DMs. Tyler Hayes 12 on IG. I'm ready.
Well, maybe if he goes down to Orlando, it'll be a little closer to you.
I'll go to every single Orlando game just to say, PJ Tucker, you're a phony.
All right. Thirsty Thursday coming up right now. I'm going to end the stream, get the starting soon, grab a couple more claws. We're going to be getting into it. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing. I'm assuming Fortnite or something else. Anyways, it's going to be fun. Thank you, as always. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. But actually, please do stay here because Thirsty Thursday is coming up.
Go Nets.